Ever wonder how a single reckless act of compassion could flip the entire story of a frontier town, turning enemies into family and a nobody widow into the most talked about woman for 100 miles? Yeah, well, that's exactly what happened to Abigail Hawthorne one brutal summer in 1847 on the banks of the Brazos River, a place where the heat could melt your boots, and just surviving was a daily act of defiance. Folks out here were always talking about Comanche raids, bad blood, and lines that weren't meant to be crossed, but nobody ever talked about what could happen if you did cross them with your eyes wide open. Oh, there's Abigail, 32 years old, already buried a husband and two babies, living in a log cabin she and her late Thomas carved out of wilderness. Most widows in her shoes would have packed up and hightailed it back east, but not her. She's stubborn as a Texas mule, taking in laundry, tending chickens, and sleeping with a rifle above the mantel. A woman alone on land claimed and reclaimed by Mexico, Texas, and the Comanche more times than anyone could count. Neighbors called her crazy for staying so close to the river, which was like a natural highway for war parties, but she'd learned to trust her own company more than anyone else's. Now, picture this. It's already blistering hot before sunrise. Abigail's walking down to check her fishing lines, knife at her belt, trying to beat the heat. She knows every rock and shadow, but she's never careless. This is still Comanche territory, and the only reason things have been quiet is because everyone's scared. The river's low, banks all muddy from last night's rain, and just as she's pulling a catfish out of her trap, she spots something across the water, a painted pony, a boy maybe 16 or 17, wearing the war paint and feathers of a Comanche warrior, riding like he was born to it. Abigail's heart nearly jumps out of her chest. She knows she's got no chance if he spots her. Her rifle's all the way back in the cabin. She curses her luck for that. But then something goes wrong. The boy leads his pony into the river, and suddenly he's sinking. Real quick, too fast for anything natural. She realizes it's quicksand, hidden beneath the surface, and every frantic move he makes just drags him down further. Her gut tells her to run, to let nature do its work. This is the tribe that's burned homesteads, taken captives, killed people she knew. But there's something about the panic in the boy's eyes, something so human, she just can't look away. Before she knows it, Abigail's lashing branches together, tossing one into the drowning boy, yelling for him to stop struggling. He grabs on, desperate, and she realizes she can't pull him out alone. That's when she gets the crazy idea to use his pony, crosses the river, calms the animal, ties the rope to the saddle, and with one slap, the pony hauls the boy out inch by muddy inch. They collapse together on the riverbank, the boy a mess of gratitude. Abigail stunned at what she's just done. He tells her his name, Takakota, gives her a pendant carved like a turquoise bear, something so precious she knows she's been handed more than just a thank you. She heads home, mind spinning with what her neighbors would say if they found out, and spends the next 3 days jumping at every sound, feeling that little bear pendant warming against her chest like it's a live point. 3 days later, the whole world changes. A war party rides up, 60 Comanche warriors, painted for battle, led by a chief who looks like Takakota could be his son. The chief, Iron Bear, is a legend, a man whose name makes settlers tremble. But instead of war, he comes to speak. Takakota explains what Abigail did, and in the strangest twist of her life, Iron Bear declares her, saves the drowning, adopts her into the tribe's protection, offers her sanctuary or a place in their village, her choice. He even gives her his grandmother's silver armband, calling her a bridge person, someone meant to connect worlds. Abigail barely has time to process before Iron Bear drops a bomb. There's a crisis brewing at a place called Harmony Falls. White settlers squatting on treaty land, young warriors talking about driving them out with fire and blood. He wants Abigail to go, to see if peace is possible, to use her new status as a bridge. It's the kind of job that could get her killed by either side, but she can't say no. She rides out with Takakota and 2 other warriors, finds Harmony Falls already in trouble, fires raging, settlers scrambling, Not soldiers, but families. Desperate people who've sunk everything into this new start. Abigail helps put out the fires, earns enough goodwill to start asking questions, hears stories of loss, hope, and anger. But she also hears talk from hot-headed young men about giving the Indians a fight they won't forget. And then, as if fate can't stand to wait, she and Takakota are betrayed, captured by the same boy she fought beside, tied up as bait for the Comanche. A war party arrives, surrounding the town, and it's only the courage of the town's women, Emma Blackwood and Mary Porter leading the charge, that saves Abigail and Takakota from being sacrificed to hatred and fear. The women free them, demand a chance at peace, and in that raw, terrifying moment, the power shifts. Abigail walks out to meet Iron Bear under a white flag, risks her life to speak the truth, and persuades both sides to try something no one's dared before, a partnership. What follows is the wildest negotiation the frontier's ever seen. Iron Bear and the settler leader, Jeremiah Blackwood, agree to share the valley. Comanche keep their winter grounds in the north, settlers farm the south. They trade knowledge, respect sacred sites, and agree to help each other survive. Even Marcus Blackwood, the boy who nearly started a war, stands before Iron Bear and asks forgiveness. The chief tells him honor isn't about never making mistakes, but about learning from them. The two communities, once seconds from slaughter, watch their kids play together as the sun sets on a new kind of peace. Takakota asks if Abigail will stay, but she knows her work is just beginning. There are more valleys, more towns, more battles to prevent. Tonight, though, Harmony Falls lives up to its name. The turquoise bear glows in the lamplight. And for the first time in years, Abigail Hawthorne feels hope take root in Texas soil. Yes, oh, let me ask you. If you were standing on that riverbank, would you have risked everything for a stranger, for an enemy? Would you have built a bridge where everyone else saw only a wall? Tell me in the comments, what does real honor look like to you? And if this story moved you, don't just scroll on. Share your thoughts, your hopes, your own stories of courage and connection. Maybe, just maybe, that's how real change begins, one voice at a time, across the divides that keep us apart.